BBC News.
Now it's time for You and Yours with Winifred Robinson.
It's pot luck because they don't always say where the seats are.
Finding themselves behind one unexpected pillar too many, friends Phil and Andrew set up their blog West End Whingers. They often whinge about sightlines. I met them in a cafe off London's Leicester Square, where they had good advice on how to get good seats, and I had a little whinge.
If you can, go direct to the theatre and buy the tickets there, because you won't pay an exorbitant booking fee, and you'll be able to choose your seats and maybe ask the person behind the box office if it's a good seat. Whereas if you do it through a ticket agency or online, you may not necessarily know where the seat's going to be, because sometimes they don't tell you. You'll turn up at the theatre and have a rubbish seat and have paid perhaps more than people even in the stalls. You might be in the upper circle.
I struggled to contact theatres directly by looking on the internet because their numbers are all hidden, it seems, and it's very difficult to actually get through to stage door or box office numbers.
Yeah, we find that as well. You get a number, you might see it in a listings thing, and you find out that's actually a ticket agent.
We have to use agencies to sell our seats. Last year we sold 500,000 seats. Like hotels, like holiday firms, we use all sorts of agencies. But if you really, really, really want to get the best information, phone the theatre, get the information from them.
While the Shaftesbury Theatre may be launching a new website soon and still has its own box office, many theatres are joining forces with one another and pooling their booking services, meaning intimate knowledge of which seats are good is being lost. So the Whingers have some advice.
There is a more useful site than ours, which is Theatremonkey. Yeah. And Theatremonkey has very detailed information about all the rows, all the seats within those rows.
The website Theatremonkey also provides information for theatregoers using wheelchairs, needing sign performances and access to described performances, as does the organisation Artsline, which also notes down the theatres where using your wheelchair, for example, means your view of the stage may be compromised. But if you do manage to do your homework and your expectations are set accordingly, you could find a bargain.
Next in line, please. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Change for tonight, please.
Okay, they'll be in the stalls, ground floor. They're going to be in the 5th row, over to the left slightly.
In most cases, the theatre consumer or the opera consumer should know that they've bought a seat with a restricted view. I mean, they are usually quite clearly flagged, and they should be quite clearly flagged when you buy them.
But it seems even if you do get a perfect view, there's one more pressing concern on the minds of theatregoers and managers alike.
The other thing that you need to remember about these buildings is that the social habits were so totally different when these theatres were built. So ladies didn't go to the WC very much. They didn't expect to have those facilities. And the same is true of the gents. So as these theatres have evolved, we've tried to add those facilities, but we're in quite constrained premises.
I think you can't complain about sightlines. It is moving on. The new theatres that are built are different in shape. You know, each theatre can give you a magical experience. It is entirely dependent on how smart the director and how good the cast are in presenting the play to you. And in fact, my thing is the thing that might really ruin your evening is the shortage of loos.
Mousetrap tonight? Tomorrow night.
Sarah Crompton from The Telegraph, ending that report by Catherine Carr. We've had a couple of emails about it already. Peter Vining says, because of the set design of Miss Saigon at Drury Lane, you missed half the action if you were more than 15 seats away from the centre aisle. In a performance of The Nutcracker at the Royal Festival Hall, a false arch on stage meant that a great deal of the action was hidden from at least 40% of the audience, and I'm puzzled how this gets past the producers and the theatre management. Mary Ledyard said performances at the Royal Opera House can be a real problem. Sometimes all of the actions on one side of the stage, which means that members of the audience sitting on that side of the theatre can't see it. I accept that it's an old theatre with poor sight lines from some areas, but the theatre management need to take that into consideration and work around it.